Hello, Shelby. Girl, I'm so excited to have you on because you are just a vibe. You're just a vibe. You're a good time. And so Shelby and I met through Jasmine Star's Mastermind. And one thing about you is like when we were already like vibing like through social media and through the Facebook community with the Mastermind, but when we got in person, I was like, I've been friends with Shelby for years. Like it's just
Yes.
always felt like that. And one thing about you, when we were there, you and I just kept saying like everything is content. Everything is content. And you're so good about getting the content. Like I
Yes.
see your stories and your reels and I'm like, wow, like who would have thought to just like put the camera up here and do that? You're so good about that. So I was like, I need to have Shelby on, the social media expert, to talk about how literally everything can be content.
Literally everything that you do is content. Thank you for having me, by the way. I didn't get to say
Yes.
that yet, but I'm super excited to be here and pour into you, into your community. So I'm
Yeah.
pumped. I'm
I'm
pumped.
pumped too. Tell us how you got here today. I love to like have my guests come in and be like, here's where I am now, but like here's actually how I got here. So kind of give
Yeah.
us a little bit of your story.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I went to LSU. I'm in Louisiana, by the way. LSU, and I went straight into the oil and gas industry before I even graduated. It was 2013. I was 23 years old, and I was thrown into a marketing director role. And I was like, oh my God, this is like a dream job. Like
Wow.
private jet setting, all the things, until I wanted to have a family and then got
Uh-huh.
married. So, like all these things changed. It came to like a screeching halt. It was like, you don't love this. The businesses that I was with at the time actually didn't really believe in marketing. Like I was like
Wow.
going into like a whole bunch of different things marketing wise. And then also they'd be like, oh, well, we need you to be the receptionist. Like social media doesn't matter, all these things.
Oh,
And
wow.
I talk about this all the time. And I really wish that I could remember the moment I Googled social media of like,
Uh-huh.
I was already doing it for our business, but like how to continue education and do something and learn and grow and be better for oil and gas for social media. And I
Mm-hmm.
stumbled upon social media marketing world, which was in California. So let's rewind a little bit. It was in 2020, right before the pandemic. So when I
Uh-huh.
told my boss, I was like, hey, can we go? Can you pay for me to go to this? He was like, absolutely. Like, whatever. I was like, okay, I didn't think that was going to happen. And when I told
Mm-hmm.
people I was going to California, they were like, you're going to bring back COVID, because that's really at first where everybody thought it came from. And
Oh,
so I
wow.
was like, no, it's fine. So I went, and I literally, my life changed. That's actually where I saw Jasmine for the first time. I went knowing no one, like literally
Mm-hmm.
no one, but I was like, I am so hungry to learn and to do better and to be better. And the power of in-person events are just like very magical. So I came back. And everybody was right. COVID hit literally the Wednesday.
Oh, no.
And I came back, but I told my husband, I was like, listen, there are a need for social media managers. And he's like, I don't even know what that means, but like, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
support you and love you on this and be like, cool, whatever. Well,
Yeah.
COVID happened. I was newly pregnant. I had a 9-month-old at home. I was like, well,
Oh,
I'm not leaving
wow.
it because we got house, I don't even know what you call that, like work from home. And I
Yeah.
had my
Uh-huh.
kid there and I was pregnant. And I was like, well, crap, I'm not leaving this cush job and
Right.
security to go out on my own and like try this. And so what ended up happening is I took everything that I learned from social media marketing world and like implemented it for the oil and gas business I was with, and their social media skyrocketed. Like it was like,
Wow.
this works.
Uh-huh.
So by 2021, February of 2021, I just reached out randomly to a restaurant, a local restaurant that we have, well, where I used to live in Thibodeau, and asked if they needed help with social media. And I truly started it, Angie, to
Mm-hmm.
renovate our kitchen. And that was it.
Oh, you're trying to get like
Good
a deal or
side-
something?
I was like, no, well, this is our good side hustle money. I want a new countertop. So like, I was like, obviously I was on corporate salary and I was like, we're
Mm-hmm.
not going to take from this. Let me go side hustle this. And so word got
Yeah.
out. I hadn't launched anything. When I tell you I got into it right when it happened, like right when social media management was like a thing,
Yeah.
um, it kind of just like skyrocketed. I didn't launch anything. People just kept asking like who was doing their social. They gave my name
Mm.
out. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, John, I really think that I can leave. And so what happened is fast forward to May of 2021. So February of 2021 to May of 2021.
Yeah.
All I had to do was we both financially contribute. So all I had to do is literally have enough to match my salary. And I was like,
Right.
challenge accepted. And so I
Right.
did. And so
Wow.
May 2021, I launched this baby. And ever since then, it's been fasten your seatbelts because it's been a roller coaster of a ride. But I'm very grateful and, almost 3 years in, and it's just been a
Wow.
beautiful journey.
Killing it. Killing it. I definitely want to dive into this social media management because I want to know like your opinion on who needs a social media manager and who can probably just do it by themselves. Or do you think everybody needs a social media manager?
So my answer is everyone needs a social media manager. Now, whether that looks like outsourcing to an agency or whether that looks like hiring in-house, that is totally up to you and your business and the means. Obviously, hiring in-house is a little bit more expensive, but you have their full attention to your brand and like you mold them exactly to how you want them to be. But what I've learned over the years, and like especially when I was marketing at that corporation, is social media is a job in itself because you are learning these social media platforms. You have to learn like the mindset of your consumer, what they're actually digesting, what they're not digesting, what's working, what's not working, who's going to actually plan and go get this content for you, who's going to do SEO, keyword research, who's going to learn the hashtags that you need, who's going to learn all of these things because it is the new marketing medium for what you should be doing in your business. And so if you're not on social media, then you need to get on social media. But don't just think that you as a business owner or you a small business or brick and mortar or coaching or whatever it is, that you can just hurry up and create something and throw it and hope it sticks. Like you have to have strategy. You have to understand your consumer. You have to understand their buying journey. You have to understand what platforms they're on because you might be shocked. They could like your demographic could be older, but they probably are on TikTok and that probably would shock you. You have to do the research of what you need to do. And if you can't do that, a social media manager should be doing it for you. If not, it's time to outsource and bring an agency in because it's so essential to your business because your competitor is doing it. So if you're not doing it, they will take market share because they are doing it.
Yeah. So as far as like you and your clients, what sort of tasks do they have you do? And what are you like, hey, you actually need to do this? Like they're probably like, okay, holding up the camera, getting the content. Because do you work with mostly local businesses or do you work virtually with anyone?
So I work with anyone. I look at this as a partnership. So if you're local to us, obviously if you have the budget to fly us out there and get content, we can do that. And it's like on your budget, we figure that out. But we also have clients that are virtual that like we give them action items and action plans of like what to do. And we say, send us this content raw, or we can create content. Like, or if you don't have a brand shoot, you need to get a brand shoot, or you need to get like certain things done for us to utilize because we hate stock imagery. I look at it more as a partnership because we are evolving and becoming one with you and your brand. We become you. We become like the brand tone, the voice, like all the things that you want to utilize for your brand because we are an extension of you. So it's definitely a partnership. And what we do, we like to make it as easy as possible when you work with us is we create everything. We create the content. We do the research on the copy. We do the research on the hashtags, the keywords, what platforms you should be doing, competitor analysis, looking at your analytics, like all of those things that you don't have time to do. But when it comes to being a partner in this, it's because maybe we need content because we're not there every day. Even if you are local, we're not there every day. And organic content always wins. I'm going to say it again. Organic content always wins. You don't need highly produced content. You don't need highly produced video. You don't need highly produced anything. It is great to have. It is great to set your tone for your brand, but you just need an iPhone. Truly, you just need an iPhone for content for social media for it to work. My highly produced content does not touch how well my organic content does.
Yes, and people are just used to that. They're used to they show up on social media and they want authenticity. And so when they see that you have really good value to share, but it was filmed with an iPhone, they're like, I respect that. You know, like you're keeping it real.
And iPhones can do a really good job, y'all. Do not underestimate the cameras of an iPhone.
I didn't know until like this year that the back of the camera is actually higher quality than the front of the camera. And that just changed everything. I was like, wow, now I'm starting to see why I thought these people were using like high quality, like DSLRs or, you know, mirrorless cameras. And it's literally just their phone. And when you use your phone, it's more convenient to create the content because I feel like people get caught up with, oh, I don't have a professional videographer. I don't have a professional photographer. And that's me coming from a brand photographer. Like you can still have great photos from your phone. And people use that as a roadblock to not show up. And you're like, no, just use the phone.
Just use your phone because I'm sick. Like a lot of people have excuses. And honestly, though, too, to go with what you just said, Angie, is your camera is better on the back. And so if you don't, a lot of times what people, because obviously it's 3 cameras, but like what a lot of time what excuses are that I hear, especially in my job, is I can't like look at myself. Like, or you get caught looking at yourself and you're looking at all the flaws and you're your own worst critic. Turn the freaking camera around and just talk. Literally, you're not going to be looking at anything other than just talking to the camera. and getting over it, because you have to produce content. Like
Yeah.
it is a game changer when you put your face in front of a camera and you provide the value that your client wants or the consumer wants. It's building that next layer of trust. Anybody can stand behind always, if it's a gorgeous photo, and say you do a branding shoot, because I think we have that in our onboarding. You have to have a brand shoot within a year. Like you can't, we're not doing 5 years, not 2 years, not nothing. It's yearly. We need brand assets. It's going to work for your brand because you were changing, you were evolving. So that's number one. They're always going to do great. But when you have your camera on your phone and you can get on and create content, because like we said, everything is content,
right?
Then you are talking to the consumer and they're actually digesting it in a way that is humanized versus them saying, I'm scared because I have to get this highly produced video or this highly produced photo or this highly produced every XYZ, because they might be balling on a budget. That's okay. Right. We all are balling on a budget.
I know that's right.
You need a phone. If you have a phone, you should be creating content.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's dive into a couple more of those objections because like, what are you hearing? So I'm definitely hearing, I don't have a professional to come and take content for me, so I can't create content. I also hear I don't have a budget, and you're like, hey, pick up the phone. What other objections do you hear from people who might not show up on social media, might not want to show up, or think it's not within their realm of marketing?
There's multiple things. Number one is I don't know where to start, which you could just start because like a lot of social media is a lot of trial and error. So even if you do hire a social media team or some expert or you go through coaching, like they don't know exactly what's going to work for your audience until you start putting stuff out there. It's very trial and error. It's very like pivot. Are they digesting certain content better than other content? Are you on the right platforms? You have to just start. You have to literally just start. Number two is I don't want to annoy people. And I tell people this all the time. There's an unfollow button. If they're
let's unpackage that because I hear that a lot. Like people are easy to be like, oh, I'm going to post me at, what I'm eating or where I'm going on vacation or what I'm doing on the weekend. But people are afraid to just sell and like literally just say, here's what I do. Here's what I sell. Here's what I offer. And they're like, no, I don't want to be annoying. And I'm like, how are people ever going to know how they can work with you if you're not talking about it? Like that's definitely an objection I hear is I don't like selling. I don't like being annoying. And I'm like, do you not want to make money?
Do you like money? Do you like it? Because if you do, you need to let me tell you, let me give you a little thing. I hate selling. Like I am not a salesman or woman, whatever you want to call it. Like I absolutely cringe, sweaty armpits, Clint. I'm like, no, but I'm running a business and I'm an entrepreneur and I have to get butts into seats if I'm launching anything in particular. Right. Let me give you an example, everyone. If you are not selling, your competitor will sell. If you don't talk about what you do, no one will know what you do. They cannot support you if you don't talk about it. You don't annoy the people that want to work with you. You do not annoy the people that trust you, that want to support you, that want to do all the things with you. The people that you do annoy, they can kick rocks and they can unfollow because truly, they will never buy from you anyway. And if you are letting that type of person stop you from chasing your dreams, then you're ignorant because, and I mean that in the most loving way, I'm sending you a bear hug right now. It is to the point where like, when you start selling and you start doing this in a way that's not necessarily selling, when you just start talking about how you can help people, people come from the woodworks. Like your community is going to shock you. It's not going to be the people that you expect it to be. It can be a few of them, but it's going to be people that you never even heard of. So if you're not willing to talk about what you do and what you serve and how you help people, then there's no point of you being an entrepreneur because you have to. Social media is very saturated. So what are you doing to stand out? What are you doing to connect with people? What are you doing to build that trust? So you saying, I don't want to annoy people actually annoys me. And I tell people this all the time. They can block you or they can unfollow you or they can continue to watch you because they have the option to leave. Yeah. But if you're going to suppress your dreams because of that 1 or 2 or 5 people, that's silly to me.
People can unfollow, they can unsubscribe. I mean, I send out weekly emails, and if I'm launching something or opening something, you might get emails daily from me over a couple of days. And I see the unsubscribes and I'm like, okay, I'm glad that this was not of interest to you. Thank you for departing. So now I know that the people who are still here are the people who really value the content that I have to share. Like people get so upset. Oh, I got unfollows and unsubscribes and blah, blah, blah. Why are you worried about them? They obviously are worried about you.
I celebrate them because one, let's look at it in a positive light. they're never going to buy from you. They never were
Right.
going to buy from you. They're not your people. They're not going to support you. So one, they're going to deplete your energy anyway. Number one.
Right.
Number two is they're going to screw up your analytics because they don't give a about you. They do not care. They're not going to buy. They're not going to convert. They're not going to like. They're not going to share. They're not going to shout your name from the rooftops. They're not going to talk about you in the room that you're not in. So those people can go. Now, I will tell you this. We're all human. It stings just a little bit. It really does. And I can't tell you that it doesn't. But you know what? In hindsight, you get to make the decision on what mindset you want. And if you want to dwell on the fact that you lost one subscriber, but yet you have a list of 10 people that are going to buy from you, or 500 or 10,000, and you're dwelling over one person and you're not celebrating the people that are there or in the room with you, then you have to figure that out mentally, because there are people there supporting you and you're dwelling on the 1 or 5 or 10 people that are like, she's just not for me.
I love that you said that. Celebrate the people who are in the room with you. Yes. I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Speaking of people in the room, segue here. Let's talk about getting back in person. I've gone to a couple events in the last year since people started to bring events back. And I'm just like, I missed this so much. Just having like, it feels like social media in real life, like having the people around us. You have an amazing event. I want you to talk about it. You had it last year and then you're bringing it back. Tickets are on sale now, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's talk about this event. Let's talk about this here.
Okay. So last year I started Damn Good Marketing Live. It has been something on my heart for a while now. I never knew what it was going to be. And so at first I thought it was just going to be a women's event. Like, let's go empower each other. But I'm like, no. We don't need that here. We need tangible things that are going to make people successful. And so what I looked at is I looked at who I was when I was in corporate. And I was like, you know what? I would always fly out, or even now I fly to different places to get that education and to get that craving that I'm having to better myself and better my business. And I was like, light bulb. Why not bring it to Covington, Louisiana? Why not orchestrate the room that you want and that you wanted when you were in corporate? Because I may be putting this event on, but I'm going to learn a hell of a lot. So Damn Good Marketing Live is a marketing event. And last year it was like really, really heavily focused on social. And then we did have like a business coach there and we had an attorney there. And it was very small. I mean, not very small. We sold 60 tickets. And by the end of it, we had probably 100 people in the room with sponsors and just people volunteering and all of that. So we outgrew that venue. And so this year it's at a different venue and we're selling 130 tickets. And I expect probably around 150 people there.
Let's go.
I'm super pumped.
And I just know the energy. I was looking at the reels and the stories and just like tapping through, and the energy just looked crazy. Like everyone's having a great time. So many people just having so many takeaways. Like the energy was wild. And I was like, of course, because it's Shelby's event. Like that's who you are. You're good energy and you bring the right people together in the room. And so many people depend on social media to make those connections, to network, to move their business forward. But people can forget about like getting in front of someone, shaking a hand, giving someone a hug. Like that is huge for networking, growing your business, taking it to the next level. And you are literally creating that space for people. I love it.
Yes. And so, Angie, the best part of last year, it wasn't being in the room. Like, I'll be very honest. It was amazing. Like, let me rephrase that. Being in the room is magical, and what can happen in a room is magical, and what you do in that room is magical.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times that you go to conferences or you go to these events and you get so like hyped up and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to go out and conquer the world and I'm going to be just like amazing. And then you get back to real life and you're like, I got to be a mom. I got to run a business. I got to be a wife. I got to cook dinner. And all this stuff happens. And like you get very like sucked back into real life that you forget like that notebook that you wrote all that juicy stuff in. And you're like, I'm going to go do all these things. But what I saw after DGML last year was just like, I cried like so much. I could cry thinking about it now. The connections, the networking, the level up that people took their social media, like Angie, the goodness that I saw that left the room and continued from the room, that is still continuing to this day, that I've seen, that I've met the people that came to the room, the connections that the people made in the room, the collaborations on social, that is the best part. Because they actually took what I put in the room and they actually went and implemented it. When there's a lot of conferences that I've been to, that you get this hype, you get this energy. And if you've been to a conference or you've been to a retreat or you've been to an in-person event, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like this crack that you're on and you're like, I'm going to conquer life. And then you don't. And I was just like, I can't have that. And so when I watched what happened after, it was just freaking amazing. The speaker list this year is,
give it to me.
I truly never thought Trent Shelton would be step footing in Covington,
Wow.
Louisiana.
Wow.
Like, I literally put it to the world. I met him last August in Denver at Keisha Get Mary's event, Empower Her Podcast live event. And I shot my shot and I was like, hey, you want to be on the podcast? And I knew he was launching a book. I knew all these things. And like, he literally just told us he was in a season of no. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to shoot my shot anyway.
You're bold. He's like on stage, like, I'm in a season of no. And you're like, oh, wait a minute.
We're like, wait, we're like, are we like possibly, I know I'm sorry. Like, I literally talked myself out of it before talking myself into it in the conversation with him. Anyway, long story short, we just kept the relationship going and I sent him a voice memo because I was like, you know what? I'm going to shoot my shot again. Screw it.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, if you wanted to come to Louisiana and you're bored on October 8th and 9th, I would love to have you. Covington would love to have you. And he was like, cool, just send my team the details. And I was like,
wow.
So anyway,
here's a lesson. Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. So basically, that's a long-winded question you got. But DGML, the whole vision is to bring the connections that I have and that I invest in myself. So spending the money to go to Jasmine's event or to go to these other in-person events, to make sure I'm in the room to talk to the people that I want to learn from and bring that goodness back to Louisiana. Like, that's the whole vision. So if I'm going to shoot my shot and still get rejected or get like, hell yeah, I'm there, then I'm going to do it. So like Keisha Get Mary, I don't know if anyone listening knows who that is. Like, you should go look up her podcast, Empower Her. It is amazing. She is amazing. She's coming in. I mean, Casey, that was in our mastermind, is coming back in. Emily Sincata, Lauren Navarre, which is an attorney, is coming in. I'm speaking. We're looking at a few other ones, but like, y'all, it is going to be, I say, but I could be biased, the event here because I pour so much into it and I want you to get so much out of it. And we preach, and you've said this, being in a room is magical. Being in a room sets you apart. Being in a room takes you to the next level because I truly believe you never know enough and you never can get to where you want to go by yourself. And so you have to surround yourself with people that dream big, that are big thinkers, that are goal oriented, that are driven, that will help you and themselves get to that next opportunity and that next space of where they want to be.
And those are the type of people who go to in-person events.
Yes.
Like, when you go to an in-person event, you know, people have had to take off of, whether they're working full time, so take off of work, take off of being, running their own business, take off of taking care of their family. They might have to travel there. They're investing in it. You know, those people, their mindset is locked in. They're like, I want to be here for the same reasons that you want to be here, to connect, to grow, to take it to the next level, to have brand new opportunities, to shoot your shot. Like, those are the types of people you really want to be in the room with. So when people reach out and say, oh, this event looks really cool, I want to go to it, you know, it's kind of an investment. Do you think I should go? And I'm just like, if the vibe is there, if you have reasoning why you want to go, and those are the type of people you want to be around, it's a no-brainer. I don't know why people just sit on decisions of in-person events more than they do maybe buying like a $500 course. They're like, okay, I can go to an in-person event for $500, or I can buy this course for $500, and they don't weigh the in-person event as heavy as they do the course. And I'm like, courses are great. You know, I take courses, I sell courses, they're great, but in-person events, it's just a whole other world.
Networking. It's you getting in a room with people that have the mindset that you have. Your goals are different. Your dreams are different. What you're doing is different.
Right.
But those are the type of people that know what it takes to get to that next level, and they know how to help you get to the next level. Or they're like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And you're like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Let's do it together.
And figure it out together.
When I tell you, I've met the best of my friends in rooms. Like Angie and I just clicked. Like, she understands because she's doing the same thing I'm doing. We're trying to build a business, and our dreams are way bigger than any small town mentality that is around us. So you have to put yourself in a room that's going to help you get to the next level. Because if you don't do that, you will never get to the next level in the future of what you want to get there. It might be slower. You might get there. You might not get there. But when you put yourself in a room of people that can help you and assist you and help you get to that next opportunity, you get there a hell of a lot faster than trying to do it by yourself.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Well, I'm excited to see all that's happening with your event. I'll definitely put the link to the event in the show notes because it's going to be, like you said, the event of the year. That's so exciting. I would love to play a game. Can we play a game? So you are the social media guru. So you're also just so amazing at creating or coming up with content, just random content that you can apply to something. And I know that when I get content, I'm like, let me just grab the content and then I'll figure it out later. Is that how you kind of work? Like you're like, let me just get the B-roll. Even at Jasmine's mastermind event, we went up there and had our hot seat and we were just like putting the phone up to face us and getting a time lapse of us doing our hot seat and was like, we'll figure out what to do with this later. So with this game, I want to give you a couple of types of entrepreneurs. And I want you to just tell me like what B-roll would you grab? And you don't have to say like, this is what I would do with it. This is my intention. But like, if you were this type of entrepreneur and Shelby's like, everything is content. Everything is content. Get the content. Literally. What B-roll would you get? So first up is a business coach.
Okay. Everything. So let me break down when I say everything. I want to say, okay, for example, B-roll could be you actually coaching someone. They don't have to see them on screen. You could set your phone up. It can go silent. You could put it to a trending audio and you could put like 3 ways of why it's important to have a business coach. I don't know, something like that. Like obviously I need to think about it more. You could do hyperlapse video of you working. You could do you working out. You could do you brushing your teeth, getting ready. You could do you making your coffee. You could do any of these things because let me tell you, whenever you are deciding, sorry, I'm going to go more into what I mean, because whenever you're deciding of who you're going to hire, whether that's a photographer, a business coach, a social media manager, if you're going to go to this clothing store or this clothing store, you have to think about what does your consumer know about you and how can they connect with you on a different level. And so some people connect with me right now because our house is going through the flu, and the amount of engagement I've gotten on my Instagram because I posted a fact that I'm a mom, dealing with the flu and I'm praying I don't get it. People connect on that type of relatability. So you as a business coach, every single thing that you're doing, maybe it's you writing down on a huge, big poster board of like your goals. Like obviously as your business coach, they need to see you doing certain things like that. It could be you driving and singing in a car. What kind of music do you like? What are you singing? Do you like to sing? Can you sing? I can't sing, but I share that all the time. So like it's all those types of pieces of content for B-roll. I use Angie. Okay, I'm taking over your game. I use you as an example all the time when I talk to photographers about their 100%. Because
okay, wait a minute, because this is my next category as a photographer.
Okay, go. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, go.
Okay, so tell me what you do as a photographer.
Okay. I'm leaving the screen. Okay, obviously wasn't planned. See, it's a real conversation.
Yes.
I use Angie as an example all the time. And any photographer can show their work. They can show that they're really good at editing. They can show all these things. But if you don't show how good you are in the moment of working with a client, then that's not going to set you apart from anyone. Yes, they're going to be like, her work is beautiful, but like so is probably one of your competitors. It's luxurious. It's still beautiful. But what Angie does that I've actually told everyone, sets her phone up of behind the scenes of her working with that said client. So then that gives your like future clients an inside of what it looks like to work with you. So they want to know that you can handle the crying baby and still come out with beautiful work. They want to know that you can handle the husband that's like, my wife is making me take pictures again, and it come out beautiful. They want to know what it's like for a branding shoot. Are you going to tell them how to stand? Women are different. Do you help them with like their posture? Do you help them? Do you sit them in certain ways? Do you laugh? Do you put on music? Do you do certain things? What are you doing behind the scenes of that photo that you're crafting for that consumer? Also, showcase B-roll of you editing. Showcase what it looks like another photographer that I know, she posted this video. I can't actually remember the beginning part of it, but it was like me actually what I think I look like shooting or editing. And it's like so pretty and like sitting behind the camera or sitting behind the computer editing, and then it like switches to her like in tall socks, messy bun, like me like editing at like night while things are hanging all over her, which is reality. That is relatable content, and that is the B-roll that people want to see. So Sorry, that was long-winded.
No,
Anyway.
that's great. That's great. I'm glad that we went there because I was like, okay, I definitely need to pick a photographer to give her because I do have a lot of photographers that listen to this podcast. So that was so helpful. Okay, I have another one. A fitness professional, like a health and fitness pro. What kind of B-roll should they get?
Everything. Sorry.
I love how every answer is like everything.
Okay, I'm going to give it to you. Okay, first off, fitness is like really big. Everybody wants, like, when you're following a fitness instructor, like they want to know, like, what do you drink in your coffee? Because like I drink whole milk. Is that bad? So like you could film yourself ordering at Starbucks or PJ's or I don't know what local coffee shop y'all have wherever you're listening. That you could do it at your home. You could showcase how do you meal prep? What is important ingredients? What is your favorite go-to places at the grocery store? So I tell a lot of people this, like, get content of you just grabbing crap from the grocery store that you're going to eat and then go home and do a voiceover or go home and do trending audio and say, this is the reason why I love this brand so much. Like all of that is good content. Like it could be literally set your phone up in a grocery store if you read a label. It's because you're a fitness instructor. So it's important for what you're putting in your body. This also showcases that you know what you're talking about and you actually are you're actually practicing what you preach. Do like your favorite meals at home. Do you maybe educating yourself more, reading a book? Maybe it's you playing outside with your kids instead of, being in front of the camera. Being in front of the TV and letting them just like have screen time. Like maybe it's you filming yourself running outside because you want to get movement in. So basically every time I explain to people like what is B-roll or what is content, like I know that I always say content is everything, but going into the world of 2024, you have to start humanizing your brand. If you want to stand out, you have to be human. And so people are creepy. And I say that like very lightly, but at the same time, think about why you choose the people you choose. It's because the connection that you're making in ways that they probably don't realize that you feel connected with them. You want to feel approachable. You want to feel like they're best friends. So you have to give a little bit of personability for them to connect and hang on to. So when you're thinking of content, and when I say literally everything is content, I'm talking about literally everything is content. Like some days I don't have content. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have content. And like I scroll my phone. I'm like, you're it today because I want you to learn about me. I want you to know that I have 2 kids. I want you to know that I love to work out. I want you to know that I eat well, but I also eat freaking pizza and a cheeseburger. And I also drink a little and I try to drink enough water. Like I want you to know all those things because that is the most relatable thing. I show up online without makeup. I show online with makeup. I'm homeless looking or I'm dressed to a T because I want you to know that I'm just like you. And I'm good at my job. But everything I do is content because it's giving you something else to learn about me.
Exactly.
And before you listen to this and you're like yelling at the car stereo or your phone or the YouTube channel or whatever, I understand people are freaked out by showing too much personability, but you can choose what you show. And just by showing a little bit and pulling back that curtain just a little bit of your coffee order or your movement or the back of your kid's head, you don't have to know. I say this all the time. People feel like they know me. They have no idea where my kids go to school. They don't really know their ages. I maybe say their name or I may say H and I may say like certain things. You can give just enough for people to feel like they know you to be personal. You can,
so you can filter, you can curate.
Exactly. So when I say everything is content, everything is freaking content.
Everything's content and everything can be pushed through a filter and curation, but just get the content. Like just get it because you can't show up if you don't even get the content. You don't have to have the idea. Just go out there, set up the camera, take a little bit of like B-roll, just get the content so that when you do have the time to sit down and come up with like your social media plan for that week or your overall strategy, maybe for a launch, it's like, okay, I can go through this. I have like folders in my camera roll on my phone and it's like behind the scenes. It's like, so like behind the scenes of a photo shoot or Zoom calls. Like right now, I literally have my phone up recording our conversation so I can make this an Instagram story afterwards and speed it up for a time lapse. Like I'll put things into different folders on my phone. So if I'm ever just like trying to like come up with an idea for a reel, I'm like, okay, I know that today I want to share a behind the scenes of a photo shoot and I can literally go through that folder and pick something like, but if you don't have that bank of content, you're just going to be grasping at straws at that point. So I love that you broke a lot of those down. I have one more I wanted to give you, and that is a product maker. So someone who literally works with their hands, maybe like jewelry or accessories, like what kind of B-roll could they be creating?
So a lot of that comes down to everything again, but I won't go into that.
It's so easy to create content as a product maker because they always have something to get content of.
Yes, like I'm telling you, as a product maker, it's so much easier to get that than a service person because like you can literally film anything that you're doing. Maybe that's you washing dishes. Maybe that's if you're a baker. Maybe that's you running actual food out to someone. Maybe that's you making your jewelry and packaging your jewelry and packaging the products that have been ordered. Or maybe it's just like you filming the screen of like all the orders coming in. Like people love to see that because obviously they're going to see what triggers people when they see things like that is like, wow, their product is popular. What am I missing out on? What do I have to go buy? Because that is what they need to see. They need, when you're creating content, no matter what industry you're in, you have to make it an experience for the consumer. So what is the experience you're trying to get them to? So to buy from you, to see your packaging products, to see what it's like to work with you, to see what your deliverables look like, to see whatever the case is, you have to craft that experience, even though it is online, that they're going to get with you when they do work with you or buy from you. So when you're creating content, just think of that.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Shelby, that was so great. You just like rapid fired all those different types of entrepreneurs. And you're like, this is what to do. This is what to do. So if any of those, like if you're listening and you fall under any of those entrepreneur like categories or even something adjacent to it, I'm sure you have a notebook full of ideas right now that you can go and create content with. Shelby, thank you so much for chatting with me today. Where can our audience find you online, on social media? Tell us everything.
Yes. Okay. So obviously my website is shelbyclementmarketing.com. Claymall though is spelled like Clement, Clement. We're just down south and we say it a little weird over here. My social handles, I have a couple, but my personal, AKA my personal brand is It's Shelby Claymall on Instagram. And then also we have our social media management page. It's Shelby it's Shelby Clement Marketing _SCM. And then we have It's Damn Good official is all things damn good because I have a podcast and we have the event. So Angie will put everything in the show notes.
Yes, I'll put everything in the show notes.
So if you have questions, if you have content questions, whatever it is, just hop on into my DMs because I love a good conversation and I love helping. It makes me very excited. So yeah.
Shelby, thank you so much, girl. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Hey friend, thank you so much for tuning into the Angie McPherson Show. I hope this episode ignited a fire within you, motivating you to take bold and inspired action. As a gift for listening, I've created a free download of my business toolkit featuring all the essential tools and apps I use to grow my business. Just head over to angiemcpherson.com/toolkit to get your copy. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and leaving a rating or review wherever you're listening. And if you're feeling extra generous, sharing the podcast with a friend goes a long way, and I am truly grateful for your support. For any resources and links mentioned in today's episode, make sure to check out the show notes. Keep moving forward, friend, as each step takes you closer to your goals. I'll catch you next week for another episode.